Have you told your daughter the truth about her adoption? My sister-in-law asked casually. I literally froze mid-push on the swing where my 6-year-old daughter was laughing and kicking her feet. What are you talking about? I asked, thinking she had lost her mind. Natalie isn't adopted. I gave birth to her myself. Her entire face went white and I could see fear in her eyes. Oh honey, I thought you knew by now. I just assumed after all these years someone would have told you the truth. My hands started shaking so badly I had to grip the swing chain to stay standing upright. Told me what truth? I was in labor for 14 hours. I have the stretch marks and the hospital bills to prove every second of it. She looked around nervously like she was checking if anyone else could hear our conversation. You gave birth to a baby that day. Yes, but Natalie isn't that baby. I was speechless in disbelief as she explained how my mother-in-law Sherry had switched the babies during the routine newborn tests right after delivery. She told me she couldn't stand the idea of her grandchild having your family's genes in them, your mom's mental health struggles, and your brother's addiction issues. She said she wasn't going to let that poison touch her son's bloodline. I felt like someone had punched me directly in the chest and knocked all the air from my lungs. That's completely impossible. I held my baby right after she was born. She shook her head slowly and painfully. You held a baby, but they took her away for measurements and tests, remember? Sherry volunteered to go with the nurses because she worked at that hospital for 30 years and knew every single person on staff. The memory hit me like a freight train as the truth became more clear. Sherry had insisted on being in the delivery room despite my protests, and when the nurses took the baby, she'd practically chased after them, saying she wanted to watch her first grandchild get weighed. She picked out a family herself, my sister-in-law continued, her voice breaking with guilt and shame. She said they were good people who deserved a baby, and you'd never know the difference anyway. I looked over at Natalie playing on the monkey bars with her blonde hair and blue eyes that looked nothing like my dark features. Every time I'd mentioned how different she looked, Sherry would smile and say she got all her father's genes. I have the text messages if you need proof, she whispered, pulling out her phone with trembling hands. She bragged about it to me right after. I should have said something back then, but I was too scared of what she might do. I buckled Natalie into her car seat and drove straight to Sherry's house. I didn't knock or ring the doorbell, just walked right through her front door like a tornado made of pure rage. Is it true? I demanded, my voice echoing through her fancy living room with the expensive furniture. Sherry looked up from her book without even a hint of surprise or guilt on her face. Oh, so Crystal finally grew a spine and told you. I was wondering when that particular conversation would happen. I felt my entire body start shaking with fury I didn't know I was capable of feeling. How could you do something so sick and twisted? Sherry set her book down carefully and shrugged like we were discussing the weather forecast. I did what was best for my son and my grandchild. Your family has addiction running through it like a disease, and I wasn't about to let that infect my grandchild. My mind was racing through 6 years of memories that now felt like lies. Every milestone and every moment I'd celebrated with Natalie while my actual biological child was out there somewhere, living a completely different life with strangers. The other baby went to a lovely family I personally selected, Sherry added like she'd done me some kind of favor. You should be thanking me for upgrading your situation. I thought about my real child's first steps and first words and first day of kindergarten that I'd missed entirely because of this woman's twisted sense of superiority. You love Natalie anyway, so what does it even matter? Sherry said. Biology isn't everything. Isn't that what people always say? I pulled out my phone that had been secretly recording before she could process what was happening. Say that again. Tell me exactly what you did and why you did it. Sherry's face finally showed a flicker of concern as she realized her confession had been recorded. Are you seriously going to tell my son about this? Because he'll take my side like he always does when you two fight. He can either support me through this, or he can lose both me and Natalie forever. His choice, I said. I'm calling my lawyer right now and then I'm calling the police.